Thank you. Thank you all, my dear friends, once again. So today I will be reading from the book, You're Too Good to Feel This Bad. This is the name of the book, which is written by Nate Dulles, who is a doctor, who is a dentist, where after 30 years of practice, he suddenly started to feel some discomfort, confusion, fear, and without even any sort of warning, he started to feel a lot of differences in his body, like he was getting constant headaches, migraines, diarrhea. He was going through a lot. And being himself a doctor, he also is aware completely that how much, if he is on the pills, what kind of process the body is going through. And then he started after some time he started to read the books on health, neurology and psychology. And from then on, it he changed in the way, in a positive way, that these sort of patterns have been changed. He started to read the books, and it got compounded into multiple books and slowly into podcasts. So from that time, uh, there was almost like 5 to 10% improvement in his overall health. So he was like continuously going through reading hundreds of hours of training courses, podcast, educational videos. He completely gave up on his job, and he started to focus on his personal life. And that's how he started to observe the results. And then after some time, his headaches have been dropped. He was able to walk speed in his house itself, and his cortisol levels dropped and everything. So then after recovering, he suggested everyone, he motivated everyone to follow the practices by being disciplined to ourselves, and also learning the basic things like how much of sleep a body is required and how we need to breathe, all these basic things. And from there, this book has been started. And in one of the chapter, he mentioned completely about breathing. So today we will also understand a bit about lung anatomy as well. So let me start reading this chapter today. This will be part 1 only. And the moment we are born, our bodies automatically execute the most essential function for immediate survival, which means we breathe. And tragically, that initial inhale is one of the few times in life many of us do it correctly. Our muscles expand and contract in rhythm to keep air flowing 24 hours a day for 30,000 days or so. We breathe more than we do anything else. And therein lies an unfortunate reality that most of us never learn how to do it well. Improper breathing creates unnecessary suffering, and it caps how well we can perform and forces us to get by on limited oxygen, reduced blood flow, and diminished brain power. Every organ in our bodies need oxygen, and every one of them suffers if it does not receive an adequate supply. Concentration, focus, mental cognition, sleep, energy, endurance, immunity, recovery, and digestion all depend on oxygen. Breathing is also a profound way to cope with stress. It affects our blood flow, heart rate, and even our hormone signaling. It also affects our pH. pH is the body's acidity level, which influence almost every human process. Breathing may even influence body pH more than what we eat and drink. So now we will understand more basics of the breath, my dear friends. So when we breathe, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. So this every one of us know. Incoming oxygen enters the lungs and then passes into the bloodstream. So our blood is full of red blood cells, and those red blood cells grab the new available oxygen molecules and carry them throughout the body to deliver them to tissues in need. So these red blood cells are also the transport vehicles for returning the carbon dioxide to the lungs to be exhaled back out. So this is why both oxygen and carbon dioxide they carry efficiently because they are full of specific proteins called hemoglobin, and both are necessary. So when we take in air, it travels into our lungs. To quickly refresh on you on lung anatomy, there are two of them, one on each side of the upper body. So when the air enters and exits, and broader at the bottom. So it will be narrower at the top and broader at the bottom. Inside the bag is a system of bronchioles called alveoli. Of course, this is a bit of anatomy, my dear friends. Just only try to understand the meaning and the importance. So the structure is much like an inverted tree, starting at a trunk and separating into limbs, which eventually divide into smaller branches. So at the tips of each branch, there are lots of tiny balloons called alveoli. And these little sacs are where the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange happen. Oxygen enters the blood through these alveoli, and carbon dioxide also gets removed from the blood through the same sites. So with an image of lung anatomy imprinted into your mind, the first rule, we'll understand now the first rule. And the first rule is that the most efficient air exchange takes place in the lower lungs. So which means there is more room for air in the lower and broader areas of the lungs. And if we manage to get air into the lower and more substantial portion of the lungs, there is an opportunity for more oxygenation with less effort and waste. So there is one technique where the author have mentioned that put one hand on your chest and another on your abdomen and take a deep breath. So observe which hand moves. If the hand over your chest moves the most, it's time to make some adjustments. To fill the lungs and take deeper breaths, we must work on the diaphragm and the muscle that extends across the lower thoracic cavity, not the chest. So which means, and practice this for a bit while you read, inhale and exhale with your belly doing the moving instead of your chest and shoulders, and keep it quiet but full. Notice how when you use your diaphragm, the stomach stretches forward during the inhalation, which is the opposite of how most adults breathe. So many environmental, habitual, and nutritional factors influence us to breathe poorly. So have no fear, and proper breathing becomes invisible once you master it. And every one of us should understand the breathing process, and we have to take the most smaller breaths as much as possible, which means we have to be still. And so in the next session, we will cover the another two rules, my dear friends. And I guess this is why most of the people say that proper breathing is very much essential. And here I remember also the another statement that, like chew your water. So which means like, this water, like when we drink, water is also necessary ingredient for the proper blood flow in the body, which means oxygen levels in your bloodstream also increases when your solid food also becomes like the water in your tongue itself, and when you chew that water. And then, that's how like all this is like a science that we always think that we have to breathe, but it's also important for us to understand the importance of breathing, and why everyone say instead of also eating quickly, we have to eat very slowly, which means we have to really chew our water. So everything is like interlinked. And probably tomorrow morning or on Tuesday, I will also read about the two other rules. of breathing. So this is about breathing, my dear friends. So if anyone wants to share, please, you may unmute yourself and go ahead. Even while I started to read this book, even I asked a question to myself, like, after these many years of meditation, how much like did I went and Googled about the basics, like, what means like proper breathing, how to inhale and exhale properly, how to inhale and exhale very calmly, because breathing itself is the essential thing, is the basic thing that we have to work on. And that's why this statement also came from Buddha, that no, it's just that we need to observe only the breath, and that transforms everything. So yes, my dear friends, this is all my takeaway from this book. And yes, so if anyone wants to share, please, yeah, you may unmute yourself and go ahead. Yes, Ram.
Thanks a lot, Master Neelima. That was a wonderful session. And as you were reading, I was observing my breath. And indeed, before he revealed the right way of breathing, I realized the statements that followed was, if you know you're breathing, you become healthy.
Yeah.
And if you know you're breathing, you'll become enlightened. So many of us do not even know that we are breathing. Breath happens without we being aware, we being the witness of it. So knowing that we are breathing, automatically we can heal ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and also, let's say, connect to our soul energies. So knowing our breath makes us even enlightened. So thanks a lot for sharing this wisdom and reminding us that, hey, observe your breath or breathe rightly. So only when we become aware of our breath is when we breathe rightly. And as we master it, of course, unconsciously also we do right breathing. However, we need to start by knowing that we are breathing.
Yes.
So thanks a lot. And I really feel that sometimes having these topics divided into part 1 and part 2, part 3 builds up our curiosity. Sometimes we cannot wait. So hope we catch up the next parts soon. So
Then
thanks
in
a
that
lot.
case, probably tomorrow morning, Ram.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Yeah, but thank you so much. And while you were saying, I got even one more point, that all our in the olden days, all our sages used to say, like, wear the comfortable clothing and also sit straight, because when we sit straight and when we start observing the breath, then the oxygen also flows to every cell in our body, and that's why it's very important. All these principles, maybe in those days, like, without the proper guidance, we might be thinking they were just saying these things. But slowly, after knowing all these concepts, I'm realizing, like, even why these points are very much essential. So yeah, this is one more thing even which I realized. Yeah, thank you, Ram. So anyone else wants to share, my dear friends? Actually, thank you, Shraddha Garu. I know you are the first one whom I shared this knowledge. And through our discussion, it happened that I have to share this today on this platform. And thank you so much as well for you for listening to me. And thank you, Pavni Auntie. Because of you, I was able to share it today. So, yeah. Okay, then.
I should thank you, Neelima. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, my dear friends. Thank you all for joining for today's session. And let's all meet for tomorrow morning. But before that, there is this Akhanda Dhyan going on. And please do participate for this Akhanda Dhyan as well. Thank you all. Thank you all, my dear friends. Thank you, Raksha. Thank you so much.